Hi everyone, welcome back to Gillian at Mystic Healing Therapy. So today I'm going to talk about Tartaria. Now, before 2020, I would have told you Tartaria was a country in Russia and wouldn't have really thought much more about it. But in the last 4 years, it's really come into my attention, the whole Tartaria, free energy, the buildings, the water resonance, all of that has become an evolving story for me. So what do I mean about Tartaria then? So I think Tartaria was an advanced ancient civilization that spread all across the world, not just Europe and Russia, but everywhere. America, New Zealand, Australia, everywhere had Tartaria civilization. So this was a civilization which used advanced technology, advanced into what we call today. So you can see remnants of the Tartaria buildings because a lot of what are now used as religious buildings, like the cathedrals and the churches, the religious buildings of the world, were originally, I believe, Tartaria energy collectors. So these massive, beautiful buildings that remain intact would have collected from the ether the free energy that some people call Tartarian energy, but we know, Nikola Tesla energy, but we know Nikola Tesla came later on in the story. So think of it this way then, we had this advanced civilization where people were using technology, free energy. Imagine that. Just imagine now if today you didn't have to worry about your energy bill and you could just use free from the ether energy. Even that in itself would make a difference to our lives, wouldn't it, and our freedoms. But we all know, or at least it's coming into our attention, that the powers that were, and I'm going to call them the powers that were because in my eyes they're not the powers that be, I'm putting them firmly in past tense. The powers that were, like the Rockefellers et al., remember these are entities that are interdimensional. So it's not just they've popped up now in the 20th, 21st century. They've been going years, and I mean eons. And their main objective was to control the earth, control the people, control the movements, and of course, the children. I'm going to come on to that in a minute, because you might be thinking, how on earth are the children linked into Tartaria? Because that's what I thought until this week when I had the great privilege to see a woman called Gloria Moss, PhD, from Truth University, speak about Tartaria at the Buxton Freedom Hub. Now, this was a very interesting evening and I would highly recommend you look her up. So Gloria Moss, PhD, is an academic and she's looked at Tartaria from a very logical, intelligent point of view in terms of finding evidence. Now, the way she presented this was extremely interesting because she came onto the idea of, we had this advanced civilization, what happened? Why have we not got that now? You know, look at these amazing buildings and the claim that they were built by people with horse and carts that couldn't even, you know, we hadn't got modern day cranes and machinery. It doesn't add up, the stories they tell us. So anyway, she came onto the idea about a great reset. Many of us know about these great resets, don't we? And she said that in order to bring about a great reset, the powers that were would need to alter our culture, customs, ideas, and habits. So how did they do that? Well, we know that they have perpetuated pandemics, they've perpetuated wars. All of those things are designed to take out large portions of the population. It sounding quite familiar, isn't it, for recent times? But then they take out the adults. What do they do with the children? Well, Gloria cited a writer called Eigen, and he says about huge trafficking of children, shipments of children carried around the world in the 19th century or the 20th century, 19th, 20th century. So he cites that 200,000 children, that's 200,000 children in the 19th century, 20th century, were shipped to the USA 100,000 to Australia and New Zealand. And he cites all these movements of children because they're the orphans, if you like, from these great events. Now, that really raised my interest because we know the whole story around children, don't we? And this concurs with my own research of, I do the energy work and I go healing energy, I go healing tunnels and all of that. Now, in the Peak District in Derbyshire in the UK, I've come across closed down tunnels that my guides have told me, or my higher selves told me, they've been closed down since, the 1800s. So I know that this industry, what they use children for, has been going on for hundreds of years. Now, Gloria Moss's information she presented concurred with my theory. So I'd never joined the dots of the children being involved in the Tartaria story, but then it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Reset the population, get rid of the culture, customs, ideas and habits, and then they can MK Ultra or brainwash the children because the children don't carry the old knowledge. Which then brings me on to another point made by Gloria about the old knowledge. So what did they do then with the people in society that they'd not managed to finish off by wars or pandemics? What did they do with the rest of them that wouldn't yield to the change in culture, customs, ideas and habits? Right, you go and do some local research in your local area. Most local areas in the 18th, 19th century had what they're called lunatic asylums. Yes, I'll say that again, lunatic asylums. I know that's not a politically correct word now, but back in the 19th century, it was okay to say lunatic asylum. So my theory then, and Gloria's, is that the people that would not succumb to the new culture, customs, ideas and habits, i.e. people like you and I in today's world, the truthers, the old truthers, they were forced to incarcerated in these lunatic asylums. And if you have a look round, the Bedlam lunatic asylum in London is a famous one. There's even one not too far from here in Nottinghamshire, Snighton. Everywhere they had these great big lunatic asylums where they put the people in that wouldn't yield to the new customs, culture, ideas and habits. So it's a good way of eradicating old knowledge and making a reset, isn't it? First of all, you get rid of the adults that won't be got rid of, you incarcerate and stop them spreading the knowledge. Meanwhile, you shift the children all around the country and the world. We know what they use children for, but we also know they use them to repopulate without the old knowledge. So I was very grateful to Gloria. Thank you, Gloria, for your wonderful talk. And it forms a really good bridge between academics, because Gloria is an academic, and the people like me, because, I've had friends who are academics who have turned their back on me the last last 4 years because I'm far too woo and out there, whereas Gloria makes this wonderful point from a very concise and academic point of view. So it marries the two up. So very grateful for that. So it's just another thought on Tartaria, This is an ever evolving, for me, I'm uncovering more and more about Tartaria, but it really is forming an important part of what we need to know. And now we know about the children's involvement in that. That has really put me on a new trajectory. So yeah, very interesting. Remember, you can find my books linked below on Amazon. You can find me on gillianengland.com, link below, and you can find me on Telegram. Sending you all lots of love. I'll update you when I get any more insights on Tartaria. And in my culture, we used to say, my grandparents used to say tatar when they were going. So instead of saying goodbye, they'd say tatar. And I always thought that was a bit odd. But do you know what? I think it's like a Mickey take, tatar, because they got rid of everyone. And it was like, taking the Mickey out of everyone. So I'll leave you with that. Tatar. Lots of love.